Michael from Roland is back in the Guitar Guitar studio today, and you've got something new to show me.
I do. This is the new Boss GX-10.
Anyone who's familiar with the Guitar Guitar channel will know that when there's a brand new Roland or Boss product that I'm going to enlist the help of my good buddy and Glasgow store, Guitar Guitar Glasgow store that is, resident Michael. He's here to show me something brand new today. But first of all, how are you doing today, man? You okay?
Very well, man. How are you?
I'm very well. It's always very exciting when I see you come around the studio and you've got something new and exciting to show off. So, yeah, let's just jump right in, man. What are we looking at today?
This is the new Boss GX-10. Basically, a mini version of the existing flagship GX-100s.
Because I'm familiar with the GX-100 itself. It's, you know, it's the kind of the popular one, guitar modeler anyway, for anyone who doesn't really want to dive into, you know, the weeds, I guess, of the GT-1000 and obviously the core and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see, obviously, just, you know, different levels of the family too. Just, obviously, we've seen other folk do that as well, and it's just cool to see Boss doing this. And certainly for a couple of minutes that we've had to play with this before we hit the record on the cameras today, this thing sounds awesome, man. This has got a lot going into it, so...
Yeah, it's a very powerful little unit. And when I say it's a mini version of the GX-100s, it's no compromises. It's the same power, same sound engine, same everything, same DSP, just in a smaller box. So that's, yeah, sounds fantastic.
Which who can complain about that, certainly at this point? Anybody who needs maybe more switches. But let's just check out that sound, like, right out the box, just before we get into the kind of finer details of this.
Yes.
So this is patch 1 called the GX Dual Drive. This is the one that we had in the intro play there as well. It sounds a bit like this. Sounds so cool on that, and that's again patch 1 just right out of the box there. Which this has got a lot kind of built into it, doesn't it? Like, that's obviously, it's not just a one-trick pony for that kind of sound there.
Yeah, so it comes with 99 presets dialed in, but then a further 99 slots on top of that, which you can save whatever you want. But yeah, to get started, will we do a bit of exploring?
Let's do that, yeah.
Yes.
Let's see, because I've only, myself as well, I've only heard a couple of like kind of patches before like we jumped in, so I'm really excited to hear some of these sounds as well.
I'll show you some of my favourites, which I think you'll probably enjoy as well.
You know me so well.
So you're a man who loves a nice GC tone. GC.
Told you, he knows me so well.
So yeah, this is a GC clean.
Let's give it. That sounds so cool. And I'm wearing the best t-shirt for it today as well. Just I want to show this off. Brand new Guitar Guitar merch as well that you can get on the website. There's 4 to choose, but I chose obviously this one. Very apt for today, of course.
We love choruses. No one loves chorus more than Roland.
Absolutely. What else we got going on here then?
So another favourite of mine is this guy for all their Instagram guitarists out there. Needs must. So yeah, right out of the bat, you've got, for all your drop 2 voicings and all your add 9 needs, you've got a neo soul patch right there for you to go viral on Instagram.
I had to drop a sneaky little 251 in there.
I see
Of course we did. And that's for all my theory geeks out there who are watching this.
So great for sort of lovely washy kind of chorusy tones, lovely compressors in it, but we know what we're really here for, which for me is the modern DS.
See, I'm not just all clean tones. And
No.
whatnot. Like I've got a little bit of edge to me.
I see those gallops. But no, I mean, that's great for your modern high gain, really tight distortion sounds, which I've seen that right hand. I know
Let's
that.
actually, I mean, just on that topic as well, let's just see, not the topic of the right hand, of course, but the let's just see how kind of like, just because that's one of those things, especially with like modern metal and whatnot, is like you need that to be really, really tight.
Exactly.
So like, let's even just. And again, that's just right out of the box. Like we've not done anything to those presets. We've not adjusted anything. This is just kind of a showcase. Like certainly, if you plug this in and heard those, I think certainly I'm very impressed by it as well.
Yeah.
Equally impressed by the name of this, if it's anything like the tone.
Yes.
And the heavens open.
There we go.
Stunning.
Beautiful.
Absolutely stunning.
It's certainly one of my favourite effects types right now, is like modded reverbs, modded delays. And again, it's there right out the bat. A lot of new synths and updates for new synths are kind of coming with that. There's a real emphasis on it, but again, right out the bat, you get access to all those kinds of sounds.
Because that's been one of the things, like certainly for the past couple of years, that I've really found quite cool, obviously with a lot of Boss stuff, because I mean, slight spoiler alert for that one that Michael's just moved on to there. But one of the coolest things is obviously like, you know, Boss have got so many compacts. There's the modulations as we talked about.
Yeah.
There's iconic drives, the DS1, the Blues driver, SD1. You're seeing them on boards all the time. But over the past couple of years, there's been this sort of like, I guess more like semi out there sort of effects. You know, the SY1 popping to mind kind of immediately because. That was just immediately like fun, you know.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more it's becoming more and more common for guitarists to just have like a pedal board with all the stuff you'd expect to find, plus one or two pedals that are just like, you know, you're just going to kick it on and you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly, yeah. Silly mode engaged.
Silly modes
is the way to do
That's it. Yeah, there's a silly button. Not that this is the silly button, but it's very much like that. Yeah.
Let's see how it handles.
Go for it.
And I mean, you know what I need to do right now, man. Which that's hours of fun with that. You know, if you don't want to if you don't want to hire a keyboard player for your band, then you can certainly hit the solo to jump if you need to.
With the GX-10, you don't need a keyboard player.
Official tagline there as well.
As a keyboard player.
Yeah, this is very very true as well. But
yeah, right. We got one more to do. And seeing as it's you and me, Keiran, we need to do the Melodef test.
Yeah.
Now, because it is a Boss multi-effects, you better believe there's some gnarly HM metal zone.
Which actually, while you pull that up as well, it's HM mentioned. I need to pull the bad boy out as well, and just let's have it right next to it as well. Just because.
So fuzzy distortion is just 90s Scandinavia in a box.
And yeah, anyone who's familiar with the channel know that me and Michael love chatting about that anytime he comes here as well. And you know, anybody who's not familiar with that, that's your reminder to like and subscribe on the video as well, which I need to get the YouTube stuff out of the way, of course. But let's see how this guy sounds. Sorry to all the blues dads out there, but
No.
you know, there's just something that happens when Michael comes in this room that I need to go like absolute caveman mode when it comes to the tone.
Yeah, all we can do is downpick and play diminished runs.
all of my tastes kind of goes out the window, which obviously like all the patches in here immediately I've been really enjoying just right out the bat as well. But one of the things that you were telling me was like how flexible this thing is in terms of like, you know, the actual signal chains and stuff. So if you wouldn't mind, can you show me that?
Of course, yeah. So let's go back to just the starting point now to just show you, because obviously it's got a nice big colourful touchscreen. So
and that was the thing that surprised me the most actually about this as well, was the fact that this guy's got a touchscreen, which you're not really seeing that on a lot of the kind of, you know, kind of mid-priced sort of modelers as well. It's usually the first thing to go, especially with like kind of more modern modelers.
Yeah.
Say that 5 times fast. That you know, a touchscreen is really easy because it's good to sort of like for your actual workflow. But that's usually the first thing that to save costs you would usually get going.
Yeah, especially when you go like when you're compactifying something like this.
Which you know, this guy's made out of metal. It's got a touchscreen on it as well, and it's certainly at a pretty reasonable price point, which I think.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, let's start editing the tone using the touchscreen to show you how easy it is for that. So this is the first tone you get right out of the box. And it's simple. It's so simple to go in. If you hear the sound and you want to figure out why it sounds the way it does, hit that effects button, and then you can see all of what's going on. So you got all the blocks from left to right. If a block is grayed out, it means it's not activated. If you want to turn that block on, let's say we've got an OD1 there that isn't activated. So if we press that, give a little tap. That's it. So it's as simple as that if you want to turn things on or off using the touchscreen.
Here's it without as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. But if the thing I love about the GX series, the 110, is how easy it is to explore different signal chains. If seeing how the order of your effects can affect your sounds. So, for example, if you wanted to, let's go to the end, for example. So right now we've got a delay going into a reverb, but if I want to be a bit more out there and I want to swap those around, again, it's the touchscreen. Just press and hold that, and then I'm able to swap the blocks around like that. So I've now got my reverb going into my delay.
Just like that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's super simple. But for example, so say I don't even want a reverb in that block. I want some other type of effect. So you can probably see up here, these little blocks here are all your different pedals, essentially. You got over 170 different Boss effects in here, and they're all color-coded in a way that you would expect. All your oranges are all your distortions, all your yellows are your, well, overdrives, greens, EQs, and so on. But let's say we want to put let's say a phaser, for example, instead of that reverb. So all I need to do is hit this phaser block here, and then bring that down, and then if I hover it over the top and then let go, well, it's going to asking me if I'm sure I want to do that, which I am.
Which that's a very important feature as well, because I know that some of us can get absolutely sicko mode with these things and
Yes.
just start adding in crazy things.
Yes.
And certainly we're not making it the easiest for you today, having it come it from above there. So do know that when you're using this, actually, you know,
Yes.
practically it's super easy to get going with this.
Yes, exactly. So swapping it out, we now have a phaser where that reverb was. Who doesn't love a phaser? So yeah, I can turn that off just by tapping it again.
There we go, back to our normal sound.
So in these signal chains, you can have up to 15 of these blocks in
Cool.
any one patch. So let's say, for example, I want to stick something in between this flanger and what is now a phaser.
Mhm.
Let's say I want to put a vibrato.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a vibrato in there. All I need to do, same as before, press and hold it from up here, then drag it down in between it, and then there's now a vibrato between the flanger
And the delay.
and the delay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And super easy to use as well, because you can see just all the parameters just that are related to these just knobs underneath as well.
Yeah.
And let me just say as well, oh, that feels great. They're a nice
Yes.
little click to them as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you can get really meticulous if you're having to dial in some very precise delay times
Yeah,
or like very precise parameters. So last thing to go, say I don't want that vibrato, I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just press and hold, and yeah, just get out of there.
Delete it. That's
Are
class.
you sure? Yes, I am. I never liked vibrato anyway. So, yeah, just chuck it off the screen, and then that's you. You've gotten rid of that block.
That seems really easy and quite intuitive to use. Like with that one, especially like having all the effects just right up at the top there as well. I hope I wasn't blocking that for anyone looking at home as well there, but having all your effects like literally just kind of like right at the top there, and actually I really like that effects palette is what they're calling it there, which it just shows like, you know, if you've got your chain, you don't need to jump into another menu to then like throw another effect in. You can quite quickly just go like,
Yes.
all right, what does the phaser do? Okay, what does the flanger do? That's super awesome as well.
Yeah.
And obviously we saw while we were using this patch initially as well that this little button can be obviously set to a pedal. It can be set to a couple of things, but there's a couple of new modes that you were telling me about, which I think is really important to kind of touch on as well. So
yeah,
if you don't mind.
So I'm going to go to this view. It'll be a bit easier to explain. So right now you see these three blocks. These correspond to these three foot switches. So right now I'm on patch 1 or bank 1, user 1. If I press this pedal, this up pedal here, I'm now onto user bank 1, patch 2. So right now that's the first mode. It's the like preset navigation modes, and now for each of this control button here, for each even when I'm in preset mode, for each of these patches. So for it, this is still like a control switch that you can use. So for example, you could probably have that set to be like a boost for your solo, for example.
Yeah.
If you've got like a high gain patch.
Well, this one at the moment seems to be the channel select for the amp, so let's even just see what it does here.
It's actually dividing between this, so you can actually have like two parallel circuits, two parallel amps. So that's what that was switching between.
You can see that just in real time. They're just
Exactly.
kind of going immediately to it. So that shows obviously the flexibility of that, which is really cool.
Yeah, so you could have one as your like a clean amp, and the other one as a high gain amp, and you can use that. So that is the first mode. You'll find that on well, pretty much every Boss Multi Effects. But then if I go to the menu, and if I go to control modes, there is also, well, that's the new mode in the middle. But the manual mode, it basically turns it into a pedal board. So I'll show you what that means. If I go back out here, within this Studio Blues patch, this switch can turn the panning on and off, which Yeah, you should hear it if we're running in stereo. But those can do anything. You can also have one switch do more than one function. So for example, you can have one switch turn on your reverb and your delay and your phaser all at the same time to avoid having a tap dance.
Yeah, totally.
Same as you would with a normal pedal board. Now let's go to the new mode. So the new mode is, I don't really know what to call it, but to be honest, it's kind of similar. It basically allows you to jump between different patches with across different banks as well.
Because each bank has got 3 patches in it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Exactly.
Which this, and the way that you described this to me, which I thought was really, really cool, was like, well, you can set this to like a clean, a crunch, and a lead.
Yes.
You know, instead of having it work out of one patch where you're like, right, I need to like, you know, add in distortion pedals, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You can have 3 completely separate patches that you can jump between for different sounds.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
You also, so say for example, you've got patch 1, you don't need to have those patches in consecutive order to cycle through them. Or say you need to get from patch 1 to patch 5, for example. You don't have to then go through 2, 3, and 4 to get there. You can just have patch 1 here, patch 5, and then patch whatever.
Yeah,
on the third one as well.
And I mean, the way this one's set up at the moment, this is like, I've got my blues jam at 5 and then my metal gig at 6 here. So
Exactly.
you've got like...
Oh, look at the time.
That was really quick, actually. Yes. I noticed that, like, how quickly that was between those, like, changes. That's pretty snappy.
Exactly, yeah. And also you can have the carryover as well from, so if you have delay trails from one patch,
cool, yeah.
those will carry over to if you then select a patch after that.
That's super handy because I've never been the biggest fan of the up and down bank setting.
Me too.
Like,
yeah.
You know, it's great for when you're just like sitting messing about with the unit, but actually when it kind of comes down to like clutch when you need to change patches, that I think that would be the one I would keep it on like,
so,
all the time.
As a GT-1000 core user, I've been wanting that for ages. So when I found this was on it, I was absolutely over the moon with
it. You're getting a live conversion here, folks.
Exactly. So now another thing that's new that I really wish the GT-1000 core had as well is it's a quick way to access your tuner.
Oh, okay.
So so you can see down here that if you want to access your tuner using these switches, if you hit them both at the same time, you have to be it's kind of hard to do with your hands.
It's in one of the modes as well, yeah. And like, let me see if I can get it going as well. Yeah, we're not hitting it enough time, which shows you that it can be a bit fiddly at the moment. But
yes, with this new way to access your tuner, if this is just being used as a volume control pedal, which by default it usually is, you just have to put it all the way to the heel position, and when you do that, you've now muted your guitar, and now you're in tuner.
With a little poly setting on there
exactly.
as well, for all you folk who are into that.
Yes, it's got poly or mono settings and drop D as well.
Yeah!
Exactly. And a 7-string and drop A, would you believe?
Man, that's insane.
Yeah,
He'll look at us marking out over a tuner as well, but that's that's the thing that
it's just nice to feel seen.
It's these little bits that really do kind of make it, like absolutely ideal. And obviously, if you put that back, that's you totally back to normal.
Yeah.
So even just from like a very quick glance into that, man, I'm super impressed with like not only the workflow, but like just how much like sounds are packed into obviously like a relatively small unit, and the fact that it's like still keeping up with the kind of like the current trends,
yes.
Sorry, in terms of obviously the touchscreen and whatnot. But obviously we've not done a mega dive because there's a lot of menus, there's a lot of kind of systems and whatnot in there that are not necessary. That's the thing that we want to kind of obviously like really hammer home, that like if you do want this to just be super simple, then it can be, but Is there any other bits that kind of you feel should be highlighted at this present moment in time?
It's a funny one because it's like the exciting parts are the ways that it's the same as the GX-100s rather than the ways that it's different. So you still get your 32 amps, you still get your 170 plus boss effects, you still get your 15 blocks for making your own patches. You can still load up to 16 of your own IRs, and my favorite thing, you can still optimize the input and output settings as well. So you can set different gain settings for different guitars.
That comes in way handy for folk, especially for anybody who's gigging and whatnot. You know,
exactly.
And I'm assuming you can put them into like presets as well.
Yeah,
like,
you can save. Yeah, you can save a bunch of them.
That's super smart, especially say you've got like Les Paul or something like that, and then an Ibanez or something that I'm using today. Obviously, this guitar is just one of the kind of Swiss Army knives that I like to use in here as well. But hopefully that showed with the kind of single coil tones with it as well. But exactly that. Some people might have a humbucker and a single coil guitar in their rig.
Active, passive.
The whole sort of
thing.
The whole shebang. And obviously, like, you can set one to a bass if you want to, because there's going to be bass presets. Well, there is bass presets in here as well, isn't there?
Yes, but by the time that you get this, you will also have all of the patches and including the 6 new bass amps, bass effects that come with the 2.0 update.
So this gets the same updates as the GX-100 as well?
Yes, same as the 1000 and the
that.
1000 core. The GX-100 and the GX-10, when one gets updated, the other will also get updated as well.
That's crazy. Look at that. Look at that nice synergy across the family there as well. So, I mean, I guess the most important question really, because there's a couple other things we can touch on. It does have a phones out. It's got a send and return that you can plug your own pedals into as well, because that's quite important, that you'll probably touch on in a second. And there's obviously ability to add more switches on if you do need to.
Yes.
I guess we didn't even touch on the Bluetooth in it as well, but that's, that's quite a cool little thing for later down the line that you can use the app with and whatnot. But who would you recommend this to, Michael?
Lots of people. Everyone.
Every single person.
No, it's a good question, and there are people that I think are really going to get a lot of use out of this. One is the kind of set and forget players. So obviously, one of the compromises you make with this is that you don't have as many foot switches. But if, like me, for example, you use a lot of effects and a lot of amps and splittings and stuff like that, but you kind of just set your signal chain and you don't really turn anything off or on, this is perfect for it. It's great fly rig for people, obviously. This could easily fit in front of a gig bag.
Yep.
It's got amps, it's got every effect you could ever need. You could just rock up to a gig with this and that'd be, you're laughing.
Absolutely. And obviously, within the patches and whatnot, you can like just realistically turn off like the amps in there.
Exactly.
And then that's you got just effects if you want to like run into the front of an amp.
Yes, exactly. So that's another sort of people that I feel would benefit from this. It is smaller. You could fit this on a pedal board. I mean, even looking at this, you can imagine pedals
all
around it. That's where the send and return comes in handy. You don't have to ditch all your pedals to use this. It's up to you how you want to use it.
Yeah.
You could integrate your existing pedals if you've got some weird and wacky pedals. Just have it in the effects loop.
Yeah, man.
And then you can have this doing however much or however little you want. It's great for beginners as well. Again, it's a really intuitive touchscreen. You've got every amp you could possibly want, every effects type you could possibly want, and with the touchscreen, you can essentially practice building your own boards and hear how the different effects complement each other. And then if further down the line you find yourself in a guitar store with the big boss bar with every possible effects, you know which ones you want for your boards because you've already tried them.
That's one of my favourite things about especially like the Boss multi-effects stuff, is the fact that like all the sounds in there are corresponding to like an actual Boss pedal that exists.
Yeah, you can go in and try it. Yeah.
And obviously like it's not just Boss products that are going to be in here, there's all the kind of usual suspects you would expect from 60, 70 years of guitar playing.
Yes. And bass playing as well.
And bass playing, which that's one of the kind of best things, was like the fact that this is aimed at not just plug your Strat and plug your Les Pauling. You can plug your 8-string into this, you can plug a bass into this, and there's specific settings to really complement that.
Yeah,
which
you're
is
not
awesome.
just going to run your bass through a guitar amp. Especially with the 2.0 update, we're getting the Dark Drive, which is based off of the the Dark Glass pedal, which is in there. So even your modern metal bassists like myself are going to be right at home with this.
And if that smile didn't tell you just exactly what you wanted to know as well, then I don't know what will, because that proper excitement there, man, which is great.
And obviously, last but not least, you can. Oh, it's got headphones in it, so silent practicers. Stick a set of headphones in there. You don't even need an amp. Just stick a set of headphones, and then away you go. And lastly is the home recorders, because this also has a USB out as well.
Yep, USB-C just in the top there.
Yes,
which
exactly. So this could be your interface if you wanted it to be.
Ease up on the DSP on your computer, because this thing has certainly got enough packed under the hood.
Yes, and is the lowest latency on the market at the moment.
Which that, you know what, if you stuck around to this point in the video, that's your tidbit to take away from there, because you told me that right at the start, that Boss is the lowest latency out of all of kind of guitar modeling, which that's always one of those things that I think a lot of people are always a bit put off with modelers, is like, it doesn't feel like an amp.
Yes.
Because there is like a kind of disconnect from it. This, I think, will kind of shatter those expectations as well. But you know, we could be here for, I think, another 3 hours diving into this awesome unit, Michael. But I think for anybody who wants a real deep dive on this, if you are certainly in Scotland, obviously any of our guitars across the UK will be able to help you out with this unit. But certainly anyone in Scotland, pay a visit to our Glasgow store. That's where Michael is based. It's, you know, it's one of the few places where you can get just a straight up one-on-one with a Roland expert, you know, and you know, whether it be the GX-10, GT1000, whether it be keyboards, whether it be drums and whatnot, man, you know all. So that's the good stuff. But yeah, thanks so much for popping in today, man. I've really enjoyed obviously checking this out and obviously getting your expertise on it as well. But for anyone who has any additional questions about the GX-10, do pop them down in the comments. And as I said earlier in the video, give us a like and a subscribe, because it really does help the channel grow, and you can keep up with all the latest news at GGHQ here. But until next time, I've been Kieran.
I'm Michael.
And we've been looking at the botched. That was a botched one right at the end. We've been looking at the Boss GX-10. There we go.
See ya.
Have a great day, folks. Keeping that in.
Oh yeah, no, that's got to be there.